Hello friends. What happens when fire meets earth, when a restless spirit locks eyes with a grounded soul? When the daring Aries Snake crosses paths with the stoic Capricorn Dog, destiny seems to pause, curious to see what will unfold. This pairing is a fascinating dance between passion and patience, adventure and discipline, dream and duty. It's the story of two souls whose energy could either forge a lasting empire, or collapse under the weight of their own stubborn pride. After watching, if you'd like to support the channel, click the Thanks button right under this video or use the donation alerts link in the description. Your support really helps me keep creating. And of course, if you enjoy the content, please give it a like and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Thanks so much for being here. Now let's continue. Love. At first sight, the attraction between Aries Snake and Capricorn Dog is undeniable. A magnetic pull that feels both ancient and immediate, as if these two souls have crossed paths in other lifetimes. Aries Snake, bold and electric, walks into a room like a spark wrapped in silk. There's confidence in their posture, intelligence in their eyes, and a quiet promise of mystery in every movement. The snake's allure isn't just physical, it's psychological. They make others want to know more, to peel back layers that seem deliberately hidden. Capricorn Dog notices this immediately, and unlike many who fall under the snake's spell, the dog doesn't lose their footing. Instead, they study, analyze, and feel their curiosity grow with each subtle glance and half-smile. The Capricorn Dog carries an energy that is the perfect counterbalance, composed, strong, steady, and quietly magnetic. Their presence feels like a safe harbor to the restless snake. Where the snake burns with spontaneous passion, the dog radiates calm commitment. Where the snake craves mystery, the dog offers sincerity. It's a polarity that feels written by the stars, one filled with tension, attraction, and an unspoken sense of destiny. Their chemistry is electric, yes, but beneath that spark lies complexity. The kind that can either forge a masterpiece of emotional depth or collapse under its own contradictions. Aries Snake, ever the seeker of intensity, thrives on excitement and newness. They fall in love with moments, gestures, ideas, with the poetry of passion itself. Capricorn Dog, in contrast, loves through constancy. They seek roots, not fireworks. They believe that love isn't about the rush of beginning but about the strength of endurance. When these two forces meet, the result is mesmerizing. The snake seduces the dog into a world of spontaneity, late-night conversations, impulsive getaways, whispered dreams that sound impossible yet irresistible. The dog, though initially cautious, learns to let go, to feel alive in ways they've long suppressed. And in return, the dog teaches the snake what it means to be truly seen, not as an enigma to be admired, but as a partner to be understood. Still, their journey is far from simple. The snake's intensity can overwhelm, and their occasional emotional distance may wound the loyal dog, who thrives on reassurance and mutual respect. To the dog, love is sacred, a lifelong promise. To the snake, love is a living flame, unpredictable, evolving, thrilling. When the snake withdraws to think, to observe, or to protect their independence, the dog may misinterpret this as rejection or betrayal. Yet, the snake rarely means harm. They simply need space to breathe, to maintain their sense of self. Conversely, the Capricorn Dog's moral depth and devotion can sometimes feel restrictive to the free-spirited snake. The dog's world is built on principles, structure, and loyalty. The snake's on intuition, adaptability, and mystery. The dog wants clarity. The snake thrives in ambiguity. These differences, if unacknowledged, can build invisible walls between them. The snake might see the dog as rigid or overly cautious. The dog might see the snake as selfish or emotionally evasive. Both interpretations hold some truth, but neither captures the whole picture. In the best moments, their love is alchemy. The snake's sensuality melts the dog's defenses, awakening a depth of passion the dog didn't know existed. The dog's devotion grounds the snake's restless spirit, giving them a sense of purpose beyond the thrill of the chase. Together, they discover that love isn't about domination or escape, it's about transformation. The dog learns that not every mystery must be solved, some should simply be cherished. The snake learns that vulnerability is not weakness but the highest form of courage. They find intimacy in silence, in shared looks that say more than words ever could. The snake might trace the dog's hand absent-mindedly while discussing dreams or fears. The dog might cook dinner after a long day, not out of obligation, but from genuine care, small acts that speak the language of love far better than grand gestures. Their connection deepens through everyday rituals, through the rhythm of life they slowly learn to share. Yet, storms do come. The snake's sharp tongue can cut deeply when provoked. The dog's temper, when ignited, is fierce and uncompromising. Disagreements between them are rarely small. They're battles of principle versus instinct, logic versus emotion. The snake wants to win, the dog wants to be right. If they let pride lead, the distance between them grows. But when they choose humility, each argument becomes a lesson in empathy. Over time, the Aries Snake and Capricorn Dog may realize that what drew them together wasn't just attraction, it was recognition. The snake sees in the dog the moral anchor they secretly crave. The dog sees in the snake the spark of life they fear losing. Their love becomes a mirror that reflects both their light and their shadows. The most beautiful part of this union is that it doesn't remain static. The snake's influence softens the dog's rigidity, teaching them to dance with uncertainty. The dog's presence stabilizes the snake's impulsivity, teaching them that commitment doesn't kill excitement, it deepens it. Together, they build a rhythm that belongs to no one else, passionate yet peaceful, disciplined yet daring. Still, they must remain vigilant against their darker tendencies. The snake's instinct to manipulate, often as self-protection, can undermine trust. The dog's tendency to moralize can suffocate the snake's freedom. The antidote lies in honesty. When the snake speaks openly instead of hiding behind charm, and when the dog listens without judgment instead of reacting with suspicion, love blossoms again, purer, stronger, and more resilient. For all their differences, Aries Snake and Capricorn Dog share one unshakable trait: devotion. When they choose each other, truly and consciously, their love becomes a sanctuary. It's not always easy, but it's real, a fusion of wild passion and steadfast faith. They teach the world that true love isn't about finding someone who's just like you. It's about finding someone who complements you, challenges you, and still chooses you every single day. And perhaps that's the secret behind their undeniable attraction. The Aries Snake and the Capricorn Dog are not meant to be a peaceful couple in the traditional sense. They are meant to be transformative, to burn and rebuild, to test and to trust, to fall apart only to come back stronger. Their connection is less about perfection and more about evolution. When the snake looks into the dog's eyes and sees a reflection of both chaos and calm, when the dog feels the snake's heartbeat and realizes it matches their own steady rhythm, something timeless unfolds. It's not just love, it's recognition. A promise whispered between fire and earth, between instinct and reason: I see you. I understand you, and even when we clash, I will not let go. That, in the end, is what makes their love undeniable, not because it's easy, but because it's real. Marriage. Marriage between an Aries Snake and a Capricorn Dog is a union that feels both ancient and daringly modern, like an alliance forged by destiny itself, bound by love yet tested by time and temperament. Imagine a fortress standing proud on the edge of a volcano, solid, majestic, yet trembling with an undercurrent of raw, unpredictable energy. That's the essence of this pairing: strength and risk, order and chaos, logic and passion intertwined. The Aries Snake enters marriage as the architect of change, the one who injects vitality into every shared dream. Their energy crackles with ambition. Their mind is constantly seeking the next challenge, the next breakthrough. They're the dreamer and the doer rolled into one, often dragging their Capricorn Dog partner into thrilling new adventures, sometimes literally, sometimes metaphorically. The snake's presence fills the relationship with excitement. They breathe life into routines, color into the gray corners of domestic life. The Capricorn Dog, meanwhile, builds the foundation that allows all of this energy to flourish safely. They are the guardian of structure, the custodian of order, and the quiet force of reason that keeps the union steady when the snake's fire threatens to burn too wildly. To the dog, marriage is sacred, not merely a contract, but a calling. They approach it with loyalty, endurance, and a deep moral seriousness that commands respect. When these two join forces, they can become a true power couple, the kind people notice at gatherings without even knowing why. The dog's reliability and the snake's magnetism complement each other so perfectly that they project both authority and intrigue. Friends might describe them as unstoppable. One provides the stability, the other the spark. They could run a business together, host meaningful social events, or create a home so full of art and ambition that it feels like a living masterpiece. Their domestic life often mirrors this balance. The Aries snake loves beauty, elegant surroundings, luxurious textures, and subtle symbols of success. Their aesthetic taste elevates their home into a space that inspires. The Capricorn dog, ever the traditionalist, ensures that everything is not only beautiful but practical and secure. They are the ones who keep finances organized, schedules respected, and promises honored. The result? A household that feels both alive and grounded, creative chaos perfectly contained within disciplined order. Yet, as with any strong bond, friction is inevitable. The snake, being a creature of instinct and transformation, sometimes finds the dog's rules too rigid, their discipline too unyielding. The dog, for all their devotion, can feel uneasy with the snake's unpredictability, that tendency to reinvent everything overnight or to flirt with the unknown. When the dog says, "Let's plan," the snake says, "Let's explore." When the dog insists on stability, the snake hungers for motion. If they aren't careful, their marriage can become a battlefield between freedom and security. The snake might accuse the dog of being controlling or too serious. The dog might see the snake as irresponsible or emotionally evasive. These conflicts are rarely explosive. More often they simmer quietly, in unsaid words or cold silences. But if they allow communication to wither, the very foundation of their fortress begins to crack. What saves them, again and again, is purpose. When both partners share a goal larger than themselves, raising a family, building a legacy, creating something meaningful, their love transforms from mere romance into partnership. The dog's organizational brilliance combined with the snake's vision can turn abstract dreams into tangible reality. Whether they are running a business, renovating a home, or mentoring others, they operate like two halves of a single, determined soul. The dog teaches the snake the virtue of consistency. Under the dog's influence, the snake learns that real success, and real love, is not built in moments of intensity but in the quiet, faithful repetition of effort. The snake, in return, teaches the dog the value of passion, that sometimes logic must yield to instinct, and safety must bend to risk. This exchange of lessons becomes their love language, an invisible dialogue that shapes their growth over the years. In public, they are impressive. Together, they radiate quiet power, the kind born from shared trials and victories. The dog's moral clarity complements the snake's strategic charisma. They're admired not just for their accomplishments, but for their unity, their ability to stand side by side even when life tests them harshly. They rarely air their struggles. Instead, they turn inward, protecting the sanctity of their bond from outside judgment. Privately, though, they must learn to balance dominance. Both have strong wills and prideful hearts. The dog leads through reliability and structure. The snake leads through inspiration and seduction. When they clash over control, it can become a subtle tug of war, not loud but deeply felt. The dog may retreat into silence. The snake may manipulate with charm. Yet, when they both surrender to mutual respect, when they remember they are partners and not opponents, their unity deepens tenfold. Marriage softens them in the best possible ways. The snake, once wary of vulnerability, learns that commitment doesn't mean captivity. They discover comfort in the dog's dependable presence, the kind of security that allows them to dream even bigger. The dog, once fearful of uncertainty, learns that flexibility is not the enemy of order. The snake's spontaneity teaches them that life's beauty often lies beyond the predictable. Over the years, they build traditions unique to their bond, shared rituals that strengthen their connection. Perhaps it's a morning walk before work, or the quiet ritual of tea before bed. Maybe it's spontaneous road trips where the dog finally lets the snake take the wheel, or evenings spent reviewing goals and dreams together. These rituals become the heartbeat of their marriage, small, sacred acts that remind them why they chose each other. Still, they must always guard against stagnation. When the snake feels unseen or constrained, they may retreat into secrecy, a dangerous habit that breeds distance. When the dog feels unappreciated or betrayed, their forgiveness is slow, their walls high. To sustain their union, both must practice radical honesty, not just about daily life, but about fears, temptations, and unmet needs. Their greatest strength lies in their shared resilience. Life will test them, careers will shift, responsibilities will pile up, moments of doubt will appear. But when they stand together, their differences become tools rather than weapons. The dog grounds the snake through reason. The snake revives the dog through passion. When one falters, the other rises. In old age, theirs is a marriage remembered for its depth and dignity. They will have weathered storms, reinvented themselves, and learned the sacred art of compromise. The snake will look back with gratitude for the dog's steadfast love, the anchor that allowed them to chase their endless horizons. The dog will smile quietly, grateful for the fire that kept their world alive and vivid even in routine. Ultimately, the marriage between an Aries snake and a Capricorn dog is not about perfection, it's about evolution. It's about two souls learning that love is both a fortress and a frontier. One protects, the other explores. And when these forces work in harmony, they build a life that's not only lasting but legendary, proof that opposites don't merely attract, they complete. Sex. Between Aries snake and Capricorn dog, intimacy is not merely a physical act, it is an unfolding art form, a private language that transcends words. When these two come together, there is a sense of deliberate discovery, a current of tension that hums beneath every glance and every touch. It is the meeting of instinct and restraint, fire and earth, desire and discipline. Their chemistry doesn't shout, it smolders. It builds quietly until it consumes them both. The Aries snake approaches intimacy with a kind of hypnotic grace. They are sensual without effort, intuitive without instruction. To the snake, sex is a stage for connection, mystery, and transformation, a dance between pleasure and emotion. They move with purpose, reading their partner's body like a map of hidden stories. Every gesture, every pause, is deliberate, designed to evoke emotion as much as physical response. The Capricorn dog, on the other hand, hides their intensity beneath layers of control. To the world, they seem composed, perhaps even reserved. But behind closed doors, their devotion takes on a deep, unspoken passion. Once they trust, they surrender completely, not recklessly, but wholeheartedly. The dog's approach to intimacy is grounded, loyal, and tender. They may not seek thrill for thrill's sake, but when their emotions are engaged, their depth is boundless. When these two finally meet in vulnerability, the experience is transformative for both. The snake draws the dog out of their emotional armor, coaxing them to explore sensations and fantasies they've long suppressed. The dog, in turn, gives the snake something far rarer: stability within passion, safety within surrender. Together, they find a rhythm that is both wild and tender, as if their souls remember the steps from lifetimes ago. In their first moments together, there's a spark of curiosity, not frantic, but electric. The snake's eyes linger a second too long. The dog's heart begins to race without understanding why. The initial encounter often carries a mix of awe and caution, because both sense the magnitude of what's unfolding. For the snake, this isn't just attraction, it's fascination. For the dog, it's awakening. Their connection deepens slowly, like wine that gains character with time. The Aries snake leads with creativity, never repeating the same gesture twice. They love to surprise, to provoke emotion, to experiment. The Capricorn dog responds not with flamboyance, but with patience and soulful reciprocity. Their passion may be quieter, but it is no less powerful, steady, unhurried, profound. When they finally move in sync, the result is harmony, a dance between imagination and loyalty, between impulse and endurance. Every touch becomes a conversation. The snake asks questions with their hands, the dog answers with trust. The snake ignites, the dog stabilizes. There's a rhythm between them, not merely physical but emotional, almost spiritual. In these moments, they understand each other beyond words. The dog finds liberation in the snake's spontaneity, and the snake finds belonging in the dog's grounded love. However, like all passionate pairings, they must navigate tension. The snake's hunger for novelty is insatiable. They crave reinvention, new experiences, emotional highs, a sense of perpetual discovery. Routine feels like decay to them. The dog, meanwhile, finds strength in consistency. They seek reliability, reassurance, and emotional steadiness. To the dog, love is sacred and sensuality is meaningful precisely because it's stable. If balance slips, frustration seeps in quietly. The dog may begin to feel emotionally neglected if the snake's attention drifts toward fantasy or curiosity elsewhere. They need affirmation, not in constant words, but through loyalty and presence. When the dog senses withdrawal, their instinct is to retreat inward, to protect their heart. The snake, however, might misread this silence as indifference, not realizing it stems from wounded devotion. Conversely, when the snake feels confined, when the dog's boundaries feel too tight, when intimacy becomes routine, restlessness creeps in. The snake may seek stimulation through imagination, flirtation, or distant distraction. Yet, beneath it all, what they truly crave is not variety but vitality, a reminder that love is alive, breathing, changing. To sustain their physical and emotional connection, honesty becomes their lifeline. The dog values sincerity above all. For them, emotional truth is the deepest aphrodisiac. They need to feel their partner's heart as much as their touch. The snake, though naturally guarded, must learn to share more, to let vulnerability replace control. When they dare to speak openly about desire, fear, and need, intimacy deepens to a level that neither thought possible. The most powerful nights between them are not about passion alone but about emotion, that quiet moment afterward, when their bodies rest and their eyes meet, and both realize that something sacred has occurred. The snake, normally elusive, lingers. The dog, usually cautious, lets their guard fall completely. It's in those moments of stillness that the true power of their connection emerges, an intimacy that transcends the physical. Over time, their sexual bond becomes a metaphor for their relationship as a whole. The snake brings fire, imagination, intensity, daring. The dog brings earth, devotion, structure, dependability. When they honor these roles, they complement each other perfectly. The snake teaches the dog that pleasure is not sinful, that surrender is not weakness. The dog teaches the snake that love is not a game, that intimacy is sacred. Their chemistry may ebb and flow, but it never dies. Even after years together, there remains a spark of intrigue, a sense that they are still discovering one another. Each encounter feels slightly different, deeper, more refined. Their passion evolves from spontaneous fire into a slow-burning flame that refuses to extinguish. And yet, their greatest danger is emotional distance. If communication falters, if pride replaces vulnerability, the physical connection becomes mechanical. The dog may continue out of duty, the snake out of habit. But both will feel the emptiness. To prevent this, they must nurture emotional intimacy as diligently as physical pleasure. Talk, laugh, touch, and most importantly, listen. When both partners remember that sex is an expression of love, not just desire, their connection transforms again. It becomes not merely satisfying, but healing. The snake feels seen in their depth. The dog feels desired for their soul. It's in that mutual recognition, that blend of physical devotion and emotional trust, that they find their truest form of intimacy. Theirs is a union that thrives on growth. The snake must keep creating, reinventing, breathing life into passion. The dog must keep believing, offering faith and steadiness in return. Together, they remind each other that true eroticism is not about novelty or repetition, it's about rediscovery. Every embrace, every breath, every glance becomes a chance to say, "I still choose you." In the end, their sexuality is more than passion, it's poetry. The Aries snake writes the verses in fire. the Capricorn Dog gives them rhythm and meaning. And as long as both continue to write together, with honesty, tenderness, and imagination, their story will never end. Friendship. When Aries Snake and Capricorn Dog become friends, something unusual happens. A meeting of fire and earth, instinct and discipline, mystery and loyalty. It's the kind of friendship that doesn't form instantly, but when it does, it becomes unshakable, like an unspoken pact sealed by mutual respect and fascination. They are two minds with entirely different wiring, yet somehow, they recognize something profound in each other: strength. The Aries Snake is the visionary of the pair, sharp, strategic, always thinking 3 or 5 steps ahead. They view the world as a grand puzzle of opportunities, constantly shifting, constantly demanding adaptation. To them, friendship is not casual, it's chosen carefully, with intent. The snake doesn't open their circle easily. They observe first, analyze people quietly, watching for authenticity. When they find it in the Capricorn Dog, that authenticity feels like a rare treasure. The Capricorn Dog, in contrast, is steady and grounded. They take pride in their loyalty, in being the person who shows up, who follows through. Their sense of duty extends to their friendships as much as it does to family or work. When they see the Aries Snake's confidence and depth, they feel both admiration and curiosity. The dog can sense that beneath the snake's composed exterior lies a mind teeming with ambition and emotional nuance. It's that mix of control and mystery that draws them in. Together, they form a friendship built on balance. The snake brings ideas, inspiration, and risk. The dog brings structure, patience, and moral compass. When they collaborate, whether on a small project or a shared dream, they move like clockwork, each one instinctively compensating for the other's weaknesses. The snake sees patterns that others miss. The dog ensures those insights are turned into results. Their friendship is not loud or performative. They are rarely the duo causing a scene or demanding attention. Instead, theirs is the quiet kind of bond, the one that exists in meaningful glances, in long conversations that stretch late into the night, in shared silences that feel comfortable rather than empty. Both understand the value of privacy, and both appreciate depth over chatter. The snake, known for their reserved and enigmatic nature, often finds the dog's sincerity refreshing. With the dog, they don't need to maintain masks or constant charm. They can be honest, sharp-edged, vulnerable, even cynical, without fear of judgment. The dog's reliability creates a safe emotional space where the snake can unwind. For the Capricorn Dog, this is one of the greatest gifts the friendship offers: the chance to see the snake unguarded, in moments of raw humanity. The dog, meanwhile, thrives on the snake's brilliance. They find inspiration in their friend's creativity, adaptability, and sheer courage to defy convention. While the dog naturally leans toward caution, the snake encourages them to embrace uncertainty, to take risks, to trust intuition. The dog may never say it aloud, but they secretly admire the snake's boldness, even when it unnerves them. Still, for all their synergy, the friendship is not without friction. The snake's love of secrecy can become a point of tension. When the snake retreats into silence or withholds information, as they often do when processing emotions, the dog's trust can waver. Capricorn dogs are straightforward. They dislike guesswork and ambiguity. To them, friendship is built on transparency. When the snake becomes too cryptic, the dog might feel excluded or even deceived. On the other hand, the dog's moral rigidity can frustrate the snake. The snake is pragmatic. They believe that sometimes, bending the rules is necessary to achieve something great. The dog, guided by principle, sees such flexibility as dangerous. This difference can create silent judgment or passive disappointment, both of which can erode the closeness they've built. The snake may perceive the dog as overly serious. The dog may think the snake lacks moral direction. Yet, remarkably, they always seem to find their way back to equilibrium. Their respect for each other is too strong to be undone by temporary misunderstandings. When they talk things through, which they inevitably do, the dog realizes that the snake's secrecy is often self-protection, not betrayal. The snake learns that the dog's moral stance comes from love and loyalty, not control. Over time, these differences transform from obstacles into anchors, reminders of what makes each of them whole. Their shared humor becomes the glue that holds everything together. The dog's dry wit and the snake's clever sarcasm create a private world of inside jokes and subtle teasing. Their laughter isn't boisterous, it's knowing, full of quiet understanding. The snake loves to challenge the dog's seriousness with unexpected remarks, while the dog counters with patient amusement. In these moments, their friendship feels effortless, a safe harbor from the rest of the world. What truly deepens their bond is the trust that grows between them. It's not built overnight, it's earned, inch by inch. The snake tests loyalty through observation, while the dog tests consistency through time. Eventually, they both pass each other's unspoken trials. Once the snake deems the dog trustworthy, that trust is permanent. Once the dog feels the snake's loyalty beneath their mystery, that faith never wavers. Years may pass, lives may change, but their friendship endures. Even when separated by distance or circumstance, they have a way of picking up right where they left off, as though no time has passed. This constancy is the Capricorn dog's gift, while the snake's wisdom ensures that every reunion feels enriched by reflection and shared growth. Their friendship also becomes a mutual mirror for personal evolution. The dog learns to see beyond black and white thinking, to appreciate the shades of complexity that color human nature. The snake learns that discipline and morality aren't cages, they can be sources of strength. Together, they become wiser, sharper, and more compassionate. When life throws challenges their way, heartbreaks, failures, moral dilemmas, they instinctively turn to each other. The dog provides steady encouragement, refusing to let the snake spiral into cynicism. The snake offers insight, helping the dog see angles they might otherwise miss. Their friendship, at its peak, becomes less about companionship and more about transformation. In the end, the Aries Snake and Capricorn Dog prove that opposites don't just attract, they refine each other. Their bond is an alchemy of intellect and integrity, of curiosity and constancy. It's a friendship that doesn't burn brightly for a moment and fade. It glows steadily, quietly, enduringly. When they sit together years later, perhaps over coffee, perhaps in silence, there's a mutual knowing that few others will ever share. They've seen each other's shadows and light, flaws and triumphs, and chosen to stay. The snake knows that in the dog, they have found a rare kind of loyalty. The dog knows that in the snake, they've found a rare kind of brilliance. And both understand, without needing to say it, that their friendship has become one of the great constants of their lives, not because it's perfect, but because it's real. Business. In business, the union of an Aries snake and a Capricorn dog is nothing short of formidable, a blend of daring imagination and meticulous execution that few other pairings can rival. Together, they have the capacity to build something extraordinary, not just because of their individual talents, but because their strengths complete each other in ways that feel almost cosmic. Where the snake dreams in color, the dog builds in steel. Where the snake takes the leap, the dog ensures there's a safe landing. The Aries snake approaches business like a strategist on a battlefield, intuitive, analytical, and always 2 steps ahead. They possess a natural instinct for opportunity, able to sense shifts in the market or changes in human behavior before they happen. They don't just think outside the box, they question why the box exists. Their visionary mind can turn abstract ideas into lucrative ventures, and their charisma allows them to sell those visions with magnetic confidence. The Capricorn dog, meanwhile, is the stabilizing force, the quiet powerhouse who believes in consistency over chaos, ethics over shortcuts, and diligence over luck. While the snake thrives in the thrill of uncertainty, the dog finds satisfaction in structure, accountability, and long-term planning. The dog is not easily seduced by flashy ideas. They are practical, loyal to their mission, and devoted to delivering what was promised. Together, these two make an unstoppable team. One building castles in the sky, the other ensuring those castles have foundations strong enough to stand for generations. Their collaboration thrives in the balance between innovation and integrity. The snake brings the spark of creation, often generating ideas so bold that others might consider them impossible. The dog listens, calculates, and then quietly finds a way to make them work in the real world. The dog's discipline ensures that the snake's dreams don't remain dreams, they become projects, products, or movements that leave an impact. You'll often find their partnership excelling in industries that require both creativity and control: design, finance, real estate, marketing, or entrepreneurship. The snake's talent for persuasion and risk-taking is invaluable in negotiations, brand building, and expansion. The dog, with their keen eye for detail and ethical grounding, ensures everything runs like clockwork behind the scenes. In short, the snake is the visionary front, and the dog is the operational backbone. In meetings, the contrast between them is striking. The snake commands attention effortlessly, persuasive, sharp, and magnetic. They have a gift for turning a simple pitch into a captivating story that pulls investors and clients alike into their orbit. The dog, by contrast, listens more than they speak. They take notes, notice what others miss, and later translate the snake's ambitious vision into a structured action plan. Together, they balance dream with discipline, the ultimate formula for sustainable success. But their business relationship, while powerful, is not without friction. The snake's appetite for speed and innovation can sometimes clash with the dog's cautious nature. The snake might see the dog as overly conservative or slow to act, while the dog might see the snake as reckless or impulsive. These differences can lead to tension, especially when financial stakes are high or when decisions must be made under pressure. Yet beneath these conflicts lies an unspoken respect. The snake knows that without the dog's prudence, great ideas can crumble under poor execution. The dog knows that without the snake's daring, their business would stagnate in safe mediocrity. When both recognize that their differing instincts are not threats but assets, their collaboration becomes unstoppable. The key to their long-term success lies in boundaries and trust. The snake must learn to respect the dog's need for order and ethical grounding, understanding that shortcuts can damage not only their reputation but the integrity of what they've built. The dog, in turn, must allow the snake space to take risks and innovate, to test ideas that seem risky but might lead to massive rewards. When both sides learn to trust each other's judgment, the results are extraordinary. Over time, their business dynamic often evolves into something symbiotic. The snake begins to appreciate the dog's methodical thinking, even adopting some of their discipline. The dog starts embracing risk more comfortably, learning from the snake that fortune often favors the bold. What begins as a partnership of opposites gradually transforms into a seamless collaboration, where both move with mutual intuition, a silent understanding of when to push forward and when to pull back. In moments of crisis, their true power shines. The snake, calm under pressure, instinctively strategizes a way out of chaos. The dog steadies the team, keeping morale intact and ensuring that promises are kept even in turmoil. This combination of vision and loyalty not only helps them survive tough markets but often positions them to thrive while others fall apart. Their ethics, too, set them apart. The Capricorn Dog demands honesty and accountability in all dealings. They will not compromise integrity for profit. The Aries Snake, though naturally strategic and sometimes tempted to bend rules, learns through the dog's influence that transparency builds empires that last. Together, they cultivate a brand of leadership that inspires others, bold yet trustworthy, daring yet responsible. Financially, they complement each other perfectly. The snake understands momentum, when to invest, when to expand, when to strike while the iron is hot. The dog manages resources wisely, ensuring stability and sustainability. This balance between risk and restraint allows them to grow without collapse, innovate without imploding. They don't just build businesses, they build legacies. Their working environment reflects their combined energy, sleek, organized, but alive with creative energy. The snake's flair for aesthetics ensures everything feels modern and visionary, while the dog's meticulous sense of order ensures nothing slips through the cracks. Their team, inspired by this dynamic, often finds itself unusually loyal, because under these two leaders, work feels purposeful, and excellence feels natural. Still, communication remains their greatest challenge and their greatest triumph. When they talk openly, when the snake reveals their vision and the dog explains their reasoning, they achieve alignment that few teams can match. But when ego takes over, when either side stops listening, the partnership begins to falter. Their success, therefore, depends not only on their skills but on their humility, the ability to learn from each other endlessly. In business, the Aries Snake and Capricorn Dog prove that ambition and morality need not be opposites. Their collaboration shows that innovation thrives best when anchored in discipline, and discipline flourishes when fueled by vision. They are proof that brilliance and reliability are not rivals but partners in creation. Years down the line, when they look back at what they've built, they'll realize that their success wasn't defined by profit alone, it was defined by balance. The snake's fire and the dog's earth created something both enduring and alive. Their company, their legacy, will bear the marks of both bold ideas grounded in responsibility and responsible systems driven by passion. Theirs is the kind of partnership that others aspire to, not because it's perfect, but because it's human. It's a constant dialogue between ambition and caution, innovation and integrity, dream and duty. And when these two forces unite with respect and shared purpose, there's no limit to what they can build, because together, the Aries Snake and Capricorn Dog don't just do business. They redefine what success means. Dark sides. Every union, no matter how inspired, casts shadows. Between the Aries Snake and the Capricorn Dog, those shadows can grow long and heavy because both signs are strong, proud, and unwilling to yield easily. What makes them powerful together also makes them dangerous when they turn against each other. Their shared intensity becomes a double-edged sword, passion that can scorch instead of warm, devotion that can transform into control. The Aries Snake, born under fire and instinct, carries a magnetic but perilous intelligence. They know how to read a room, how to read people, and, if they are not careful, how to twist those readings to their advantage. In conflict, that talent can mutate into manipulation. Rather than confronting hurt directly, the snake may choose silence, strategy, or subtle revenge. They are masters of emotional chess, and when wounded, they play to win. The danger is that what begins as self-protection can quickly become psychological warfare. The Capricorn Dog, for their part, has a completely different kind of shadow, colder, quieter, but just as cutting. Their devotion to principles, admirable in moderation, can harden into moral superiority. When hurt, the dog may withdraw affection not out of cruelty but conviction, convinced they are right and that their partner must come to them. Their silence freezes where the snake burns. Together, those two extremes, fire and frost, can create a climate where love gasps for air. Arguments between them are rarely mild. The snake fights with words, with tone, with implication. The dog fights with endurance and memory. The snake's tongue can slice through the dog's patience, while the dog's unwavering sense of justice can crush the snake's pride. Each knows exactly where the other's soft spot lies, and in their darker moments, they use that knowledge not to heal but to wound. Because both are proud, apologies come late, if at all. The aftermath of conflict is equally dangerous. The snake tends to retreat inward, into secrecy and plotting, convincing themselves that control equals safety. The dog, meanwhile, builds walls of duty and righteousness, believing that emotional distance equals integrity. Each hides behind what they know best, intellect for the snake, ethics for the dog, and in doing so, both become unreachable. Jealousy is another toxin that seeps quietly but deeply into their relationship. The snake's natural charm, that effortless magnetism that draws others in, can unsettle the ever-watchful dog. The dog's possessiveness, rooted in loyalty, can begin to feel like suspicion. The snake, who values autonomy, starts to feel caged. The dog, sensing withdrawal, grows more guarded. This feedback loop, fear breeding distance, distance breeding fear, corrodes trust until both begin doubting what was once unshakable. Control is the heart of their darkness. The snake craves it because control means survival. The dog demands it because control means order. Yet love cannot breathe in a cage built by two captains. When one dominates, resentment simmers. When both compete for power, the relationship becomes a battlefield disguised as a home. Even their affection can take on a transactional tone, gestures done to prove a point rather than to express care. Pride makes reconciliation difficult. The snake hates admitting fault because it feels like vulnerability, and vulnerability feels like defeat. The dog refuses to back down because they equate compromise with moral weakness. So instead of meeting halfway, they stand at opposite ends of the emotional bridge, waiting for the other to cross first. Days of silence can stretch into weeks, each convincing themselves that time will fix what only humility can. When darkness deepens, they may start rewriting the story of their love, the snake telling themselves the dog was too rigid to understand passion, the dog telling themselves the snake was too selfish to value loyalty. Yet beneath those justifications lies heartbreak, because both still care deeply. They simply don't know how to express it without losing control. In business or shared goals, their shadows echo too. The snake's ambition can slip into obsession. The dog's discipline can become tyranny. The snake pushes for risk even when danger is obvious, while the dog blocks change even when innovation is needed. They begin to resent in each other what they secretly fear in themselves: weakness, hesitation, or arrogance. Their darker moments are not all external, they are internal wars mirrored in each other. The snake struggles with insecurity hidden behind confidence. The dog battles loneliness hidden behind duty. When they stop communicating, these private battles spill into the relationship, distorting perception until both believe the other is the enemy. And yet, even within those shadows, there lies a strange kind of loyalty. The dog, despite feeling betrayed, rarely abandons outright. The snake, despite feeling misunderstood, often circles back. What keeps them bound is the memory of what they can be when light returns, the memory of connection powerful enough to weather storms. But the cost of holding on without healing can be immense. Their challenge, their lifelong lesson, is to understand that love is not control, that trust is not weakness, and that forgiveness is not surrender. The snake must learn that transparency is more powerful than strategy. The dog must learn that empathy is stronger than judgment. Only when they let go of their need to dominate does the real magic of their bond reappear. The tragedy of their dark side is that it often grows from the very qualities that make them extraordinary. The snake's brilliance becomes cunning. The dog's loyalty becomes rigidity. Their greatest virtues, left unchecked, transform into their greatest flaws. The solution is not to suppress their natures but to evolve them, to channel the snake's insight toward empathy and the dog's principles toward compassion. When they remember to communicate openly, their shadows shrink back into proportion. The snake softens, using charm to heal instead of manipulate. The dog opens, using strength to protect rather than control. They rediscover that the true power in their relationship lies not in who wins but in who understands. If they can reach that point, if they can look at each other with humility instead of pride, their shadows become teachers rather than threats. The snake learns patience, the dog learns forgiveness. And in that fragile equilibrium, they finally find what their love was meant to be: not perfect, but honest, not flawless, but profoundly human. Life goals. When it comes to life goals, the Aries Snake and Capricorn Dog form a partnership of ambition shaped by very different dreams, yet driven by the same restless hunger to leave their mark. Both are born to climb, one through intuition and fire, the other through determination and structure. They might not always agree on what success looks like, but they both crave it deeply, and that shared hunger becomes the invisible thread that binds them across years, trials, and reinventions. The Aries Snake's goals are often painted in bold colors: freedom, recognition, influence, the thrill of creating something unique. They crave movement, transformation, the feeling of constantly evolving beyond limits. For them, success isn't about material accumulation alone, it's about becoming someone unforgettable. They chase beauty, both literal and symbolic, the beauty of an elegant idea, a perfectly executed plan, a life that feels like art. Their goals are fluid, alive, always adapting to new possibilities. The Capricorn Dog, by contrast, sets their sights on the solid and enduring. They want to build something that lasts, a career that commands respect, a family that thrives, a legacy grounded in values. Their idea of success has less to do with applause and more to do with integrity. The dog wants to stand at the end of their life knowing they lived honorably, that their word was kept, and their name carries quiet pride. Their ambition is practical, structured, and moral at its core. When these two come together, something profound happens. The snake's vision ignites the dog's sense of possibility, while the dog's discipline anchors the snake's imagination. The result is a shared journey where both begin to evolve, the snake learning that greatness without roots is fleeting, and the dog discovering that stability without inspiration is lifeless. Their life goals often converge around building a business, a home, a shared dream. The snake provides the creative spark, the unorthodox perspective that breaks stagnation. The dog ensures every idea has a roadmap, every dream a foundation. It's not always a peaceful process, their methods can clash fiercely. The snake wants to move fast, leap into the unknown. The dog wants to analyze, plan, prepare. But over time, they learn to see that each approach is a form of love. The snake expresses devotion through boldness, the dog through protection. In leadership, they shine when they join forces. The snake inspires others through charisma and instinct, effortlessly drawing people toward their vision. The dog leads by example, proving that consistency and integrity can move mountains. Together, they represent the perfect duality of leadership, passion balanced by principle. Their team or family can rely on them because they deliver not only inspiration but results. However, their differing motivations can also create tension in their pursuit of goals. The snake may crave recognition. They want to feel successful, to be admired, to have their genius seen and validated. The dog, meanwhile, often finds such vanity distasteful, preferring to work quietly toward tangible outcomes. When this difference grows unchecked, it can create frustration, the snake accusing the dog of being narrow-minded, the dog accusing the snake of being self-centered. But beneath those surface-level clashes lies mutual respect. The dog secretly admires the snake's audacity, even when it unnerves them. The snake, though they might tease the dog for being cautious, deeply respects their unshakable integrity. They each carry a piece of what the other lacks, and over time, they begin to blend. The snake learning patience and honor, the dog learning creativity and courage. In their personal growth, these two signs serve as lifelong teachers to one another. The dog shows the snake that achievement without purpose is hollow, that discipline can amplify rather than restrict freedom. The snake teaches the dog that not all risks are reckless, that sometimes faith in intuition can open doors logic never sees. Together, they become greater versions of themselves, sharper, wiser, more complete. Life, however, tests them constantly. There will be moments when their ambitions pull them in opposite directions, when the snake's hunger for movement collides with the dog's need for stability. The snake might want to change careers, cities, or lifestyles. The dog might dig in, wanting to protect what they've built. These moments test their ability to compromise. The healthiest version of their bond emerges when they realize they're not meant to choose between security and adventure, but to weave both into the same story. Their shared ambition also makes them natural allies in the world. They can build empires together, mentor others, and create systems that reflect both beauty and integrity. The snake brings innovation, ensuring their goals never stagnate. The dog brings structure, ensuring their success never collapses. It's the classic meeting of entrepreneur and manager, artist and architect, dreamer and guardian. When they look toward the future, they often see it through different lenses. The snake sees horizons, infinite possibilities, ever-changing opportunities. The dog sees milestones, achievements to be earned, duties to be fulfilled. But the beauty of their union lies in synthesis. The dog teaches the snake to set real, measurable goals. The snake teaches the dog to dream bigger than safety allows. This mutual influence often leads them to achieve far more than either could alone. In later years, the lessons deepen. The snake may look back and realize that the dog's discipline gave their dreams structure. The dog, in turn, will see that the snake's fire gave their life passion. Their accomplishments, whether public or private, will bear the mark of both energies, boldness wrapped in responsibility, risk grounded in purpose. Their shared life philosophy evolves into one simple truth, that success without balance destroys, but success built on understanding endures. They come to see that ambition is not about conquest, but about harmony, between vision and duty, creativity and ethics, self and partnership. The greatest legacy of their bond isn't wealth or power, but transformation. The snake learns what it means to build something that lasts. The dog learns what it means to live with wonder. Together, they redefine success not as a finish line but as a continuous journey, one of self-discovery, mutual respect, and shared triumphs. When the world sees them, it sees a power couple, confident, composed, unstoppable. But what truly makes them great is invisible. The way they challenge and soften each other in equal measure, the way their differences forge depth instead of division. In the end, the Aries Snake and Capricorn Dog become proof that two opposing natures can build a shared destiny greater than either's alone. Their life goals intertwine like roots and flame, one reaching deep for strength, the other reaching high for light. And in that balance, they don't just find success, they find meaning. Final conclusions. So, can Aries Snake and Capricorn Dog truly be compatible? Absolutely, but only if they respect the magic of their differences. This union is not effortless, but it's deeply rewarding. When fire and earth learn to coexist, they create a world where passion meets purpose, where dreams have foundations, and where loyalty dances with desire. The Aries Snake will always push boundaries, and the Capricorn Dog will always guard the gate, but together, they build a kingdom neither could create alone. Their story isn't about perfection, it's about balance. And when that balance is found, it becomes a rare and enduring love, one that others only dream of.